Hi, and welcome to the Economic Recession and Preparation Channel 2021. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button for the latest, unfiltered, unadulterated financial news and world news as well. Today, we are going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about the jobless claims. The weekly jobless claims have been falling, but very slowly for the second straight week, according to CNBC and MSNBC. Initial jobless claims declined by 19,000 to 787,000 for the week ending last week, December 27th. But in addition to that, this has been the 42nd straight week that we've had over 500,000 jobs lost in this so-called booming economy. So as you can see, this economy is suffering. As you can see, job loss is continuing to mount. And the thing about it is that what is very striking is that they never talk about in the media, in the mainstream media, and also the news and alternative media about job creation. What is going to replace all of these jobs lost? Because these are people's livelihoods. And even though we're making this transition to a quote unquote digital cashless economy, or a gig economy, there's still going to be a need for human labor, human consumption, physical human labor, and consumption. Not everybody can be Uber, Lyft, Amazon drivers, grocery delivery people online. This physical products has to be made. Physical manufacturing is the lifeblood of any economy, whether it's the U.S., Europe, Asia, Africa, or any other area. And when we don't have people in this country making, manufacturing, producing things, spending money for things made for Americans by Americans, that creates a chain ripple effect. So much so that we slip into a double dip recession, yea, even a depression. And see, the depression is already here because not only is manufacturing down, new job creation is down. Because you notice that they're telling you every week on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. they give us the job numbers, the Labor Department, U.S. Labor Department. So they're telling us that we're losing over 700,000 jobs per week, right? But they're not telling you how many jobs are being created every week. How many new hires are these companies, corporate, private, public sector, are hiring every week? They're not telling you those numbers because those numbers are flatlining at an unbelievable pace. We are, in fact, not creating as many jobs. We're losing jobs, even in the online sector. People are buying online the necessities, of course, from Amazon and these other Alibaba and these other retailers online. But that does not make up for the fact that people's livelihoods are in danger here. Because, you see, we are coming to a critical point now where the government has to decide whether or not they want to take care of everybody by providing some type of universal basic income instead of sending out stimulus checks every 5 or 6 months. Some people have argued, such as Market Watch economists, argued that the top 10 billionaires like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates and these guys, Jeff Bezos, that they can afford to send out a $3,000 stimulus checks to everybody. And of course they can, because in the last 6 months, Main Street has suffered while these fat cats on Wall Street, the 10 top billionaires, there are 651 billionaires in the United States, and they have seen their collective wealth grow by more than $1 trillion over the past 9 months. So while everybody's in lockdown, these 10 or 12 or 651 people are making a killing in money, that so much so that they can afford to give out a one-time $3,000 stimulus check and still be wealthier than they were back in March when this whole sickness outbreak began. Let's take a look at some of the gains enjoyed by some of the country's richest men, including Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, Tesla's Elon Musk. They can afford to send $3,000 stimulus check to every person in America. Okay, let's look at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos' net worth back in March 18, 2020 was $113 billion. Now, mind you, you can't even spend that kind of money in a lifetime, okay, in one lifetime. But let's just say now, look how much his net worth has increased. On December 7th, his net worth was now $184 billion, okay? Richest man in the world. That's a 63% increase in his net worth. Okay. Elon Musk, his net worth was $24.6 billion at the start of this whole pandemic. Now his net worth as of December 7th, 2020 is $143 billion. Obviously, most of his stock is in Tesla and SpaceX company. Bill Gates, his net worth was $98 billion back in March 18, 2020 when this whole sickness thing began. Now his net worth is at $118.7 billion. And that's as of December 7, 2020. Mark Zuckerberg, same thing. His net worth as of March 18, 2020 was $54.7 billion. Now his net worth as of December 7th, 2020 is $104.8 billion. That's a 91% increase in wealth growth from March 18th to December 7th, 2020. Just in those couple of months there. Of course, Facebook. Same thing with Warren Buffett. His net worth was $67.5 billion. Now it's up to $87 billion. That's a 28.1% increase. Okay. So you're looking at the world's richest. They have collectively gained as tens of millions of Americans suffer from the health and economic ravages of this whole sickness thing. A few billionaires have added to their massive fortunes. They can afford to send more than $3,000 a check. At this point, even the government, as much as they're printing up money to give us $600 checks, which many of us are receiving this week and maybe even toward the end of the month, the government can afford to send out $1,200 or $3,000 stimulus checks because in this new $900 billion, almost $1 trillion CARES Act or whatever you want to call it, stimulus plan, there's a lot of money rolled in there for senators. Both Republicans and Democrats are getting extra money. The representatives are getting extra money off this bill called pork rolling. And this is what they get extra money for their states, extra money for themselves, because a lot of these senators, as you know, Republicans and Democrats are on these boards of these companies and they get kickbacks and money too. So they can afford to send out to Americans more than $600, more than $1,200. But why they're piecing together this money like this for us, giving us the breadcrumbs, is because the desire for control, the desire because they know that a lot of Americans, 40 million Americans, 60 million Americans are unemployed and they need the help. And they love to breadcrumb us along, slowly but surely. And what's interesting is that the rich folks have all this money, the ultra rich, the top upper 1%. But yet, you notice how they're not spending it back into the economy. They're hoarding cash. They're waiting for when all this thing crashes so they can buy all of this stuff on pennies on the dollar, houses, land, gold, silver, crypto, you name it. And right now, we're in a race right now for our souls. That's the thing. It's not so much about the money control. Money runs the world. We know that. But it's about control of people and resources. And this is what the top upper 1% want. They want the control of our souls with this forcing of a vaccination, the forcing of wearing a mask, all of this stuff. And regardless of what happens on January the 6th with this elections in Georgia, as you know, regardless of who becomes president on January 20th, whether or not Trump stays in or Biden gets in, we are heading for this new control regime in America. And that's going to make it worse because we have a double whammy. We're going to have not only an economic depression that's going to last this next 10 to 12 years, but now we're going to have a social depression and a social and political depression where the whole regime of democracy of America, limited democracy of America, by the way, is going to be turned upside down, and we're going to be heading more toward this socialist, communist type of framework, kind of this hybrid framework that's going to be absolutely dangerous for the majority of Americans. And they're only going to see it in a couple years when they're going to see what all of this liberalism, all of this wasteful spending by the government, and all of this take care of Main Street, the top upper 1% where everybody else can go to crap. You're going to see the consequences of that, severe consequences of that, once the money printing falls and the quantitative easing stops. So continue, my friends, to get prepared. Continue to tell people to spread this message is that despite the YouTube and everything blacklisting us and blackballing us, the bottom line is that we need to be more self-sufficient. They're trying to take away our self-sufficiency, the ability for us to grow our own food, the ability for us to make work, our own honest, decent work, outside of robots and this automation system that they're pushing on us and transhumanism. We need to reject that. We need physical work. We need mental work. We need our younger generations to get out there and not just protest on the streets, but we need them to fight back, to continue to use their coding skills, to continue to use their engineering, their science, their ingenuity, their communication skills, their marketing skills, to fight back, to not let these top upper 1% monopolize the economy, to make decisions for us as Americans, because that's what the American spirit is about. It's about fighting back. It's about individualism. It's about collectively taking care of each other. But we cannot do that alone, and we need your help. We need our help. All of us need to get together and do things the right way. Otherwise, we're going to be in a depression much longer than 10 years. Could be 12 years, could be 15 years, until this whole thing revamps. But bottom line is that jobs are not coming back the way we thought they would. And as a matter of fact, the stimulus checks are just there to put a Band-Aid on the problem, but eventually we're not going to get any more stimulus checks because hyperinflation will set in. First, deflation, like I said, deflation on the assets, but hyperinflation on things like maybe your food and your utilities, which they don't count in the consumer price index, by the way. So you're going to see that. And then once the stimulus check stops, that's it. We're going to be in a major, major depression because jobs are bleeding away too fast and they're not coming back. The rich are not going to bring the jobs from overseas back, as you know. And it's just going to be a big mess. And so I want you to continue to prepare. Start thinking about ways that you can cut back in some of your budget. I have as well. Maybe, keep that car a little bit longer. It's paid for. Try to do your own work on your cars, so you don't take them to the mechanic because they charge you $1,000, $800 minimum just for basic stuff like brakes and tires. If you have a friend or a neighbor, maybe you can barter for that. Maybe you say, I can work on your car if you give me, some barter goods or things that I may need, like portable tents or portable tarps or whatever that I may need to survive when this thing really crashes, because the crash is very near, very near. And this year is going to be even worse. People think that the calendar flip is going to make things better, but it's not. So continue to prepare. Continue to stack your cash. Continue to stack gold, silver, cryptos, land, food, water, medicine, and you'll be fine. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great start of the week, and I'll talk to you very soon.